Hey everybody, welcome to the Stock Car Spectacle. I'm Ian Jortson,
And I'm Tom Hoblin.
and we'll be getting right into it with our Richmond and Road America review show. But we got some top stories to talk about. Jordan Bianchi just released a new article on The Athletic, kind of talking about silly season news and everything, and basically pointed towards that Noah Gregson's going to be leaving the 42 at the end of the year. He's heard a lot of people talk about like that are usually in talks with the silly season stuff that are usually pretty correct that he's going to be leaving the 42 and Nemechek is going to be taking that ride solely because they're moving over to Toyota. Nemechek is the new Toyota, I don't know, driver, I guess, that they want to see coming in the upbringing. No Joe Gibbs cars are available, so might as well take one from my boy Noah.
I'm sitting here shaking my head at this. I just don't get it. That's not how you build a strong race team, is by flipping drivers out.
Yeah.
So and John Hunter Nemechek on his end, I don't think he should be too excited about this, seeing how Legacy is performing this year.
Yeah, it's going to be like how he was with the front row.
Yeah, and which is exactly why he went through all this, to go back through the Truck Series and Xfinity again, to just get sat in the 42 car again. I mean, it just doesn't make sense all around to me, because they're blaming Noah Gragson for Chevy dropping them completely. Noah Gragson has worked with Toyota before. Unless there's some like bad blood between them, which I don't recall anything like that. Like, it just, on multiple levels, it just doesn't make sense. I don't know why NASCAR teams, where and especially oval racing, it's an experience game. The more time these guys have in there, the better they are. And so to get rid of this guy, to dump him after a year, and this is a trend with these lower teams, is to dump these guys after a year and try somebody new. It's like, but they never have time to get truly established. It's just, I'm shaking my head at all angles. I don't know why John Hunter Nemechek wants to jump up there with the 19 car potentially opening up, if not next year, then in a couple of years. And this just doesn't make any sense to me whatsoever.
No, it's absolutely ridiculous. And I was really hoping that Noah would stay with this 42. I mean, there is still hope. They said it's still a possibility he will be with them. But with that change to Toyota, I feel like that would just help Legacy Motor Club so much. And he's already worked around with these guys for half a year. He's brought in so many sponsors. So it just doesn't make sense. So unless he has some major contract with Chevy where he has to drive a Chevy, then I get it because we have a couple open Chevys next year with the two College cars that are, well, one of them
Yeah.
that's open and the other one that's possibly going to be open. So I don't know.
But
It's
my thing is with him is, if would you rather go to like a B or C tier Chevy team, or stay with a Toyota team? Because Toyota's all in,
mm-hmm.
and they fund Joe Gibbs Racing. They're gonna fund 2311, and this is why Legacy moves over to that. So why if this was, I mean, obviously it's not his decision. I'm sure he'd like to stay where he was in his cup ride.
Right.
But just like, what's the advantage of jumping ship on a Chevy? Like, rip up that Chevy contract. Toyota's going to be supportive. It's just, it's odd. It's odd. And I get they want to put John Hunter Nemechek in the seat. Like, they want him to have the seat time, but finish one meal before you start a next one. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right. And kind of going on what you said earlier, like they're blaming Noah for the loss of speed in this car, but what I really
No.
think is once they announced that they were moving to Toyota, Chevy just completely gave up on them. Like
Well, I mean,
why would they keep funding them if they're moving to a new manufacturer, you know?
how are you going to blame Noah Gragson for this when,
Yeah.
I mean, Eric Jones last year, it wasn't every week, but he was a threat to win
Yeah,
quite a few races,
he
and
won
not just super
Darlington.
speed. Yeah, he won freaking Darlington. Like, that's that's a feat in itself. Like,
Yeah.
that's impressive. So you're going to blame this guy. I mean, Eric Jones has been off the map this year. So you're going to blame Noah Gragson and scapegoat him. That's just a shitty situation all around. I'm shaking my head. When you sent me this article, I was like, it wasn't even on my radar, and you sent me this, and my jaw dropped. It was just so strange, so strange. This is stranger than Justin Haley, for sure.
Yeah, for real, completely out of left field. Noah is like one of the most popular drivers in NASCAR right now, has a huge fan base. So this
Hmm.
is definitely kind of crazy to see that he could be leaving his
And
rookie ride.
you wonder how he's going to take it too, because he has been an emotional guy for better or for worse. And you wonder how, if this is going to make him stronger, or if he's just going to enter this phase of dejection.
Right.
You just wonder. Also, I mean, yeah, the colleague seats opening up. Where else could he go? Where else could he
Yeah.
go?
Who knows? Well,
It's odd.
if like
It's
we were
odd.
talking about past couple weeks, if Austin Dillon just somehow
Mm-hmm.
just hangs up his helmet, maybe that could be a good ride for Noah. Who knows?
Yeah,
Because that's still Team
it's
Chevy. But yeah, it's really just really weird situation that I just did
right.
not see coming at all.
I mean, and yeah, I mean, I feel for you personally, because I mean, you got you are the biggest Noah Gragson fan I've ever met. So, like, it just sucks for his fans who are excited to build that legacy of Cup. No pun intended, but like, it's it's tough all around, and we can take solace for now in the fact that this is still rumored. I mean, this none
Yeah.
of this is confirmed, but I mean, the Athletic is always on top of stuff like this. Um, I'm trying to remember what other big ones they broke. I'm drawing a blank right now, but they've broken some pretty big free agency news in the past. So it just seems odd. Just seems odd. I mean, could he go back to JRM? Who knows?
Yeah, that's what
And
I'm kind of thinking because I feel like what is happening to Noah is what happened to Daniel Hemrick in 2019 when he took that 8 car
mm-hmm,
in the Cup Series. He just could not find his stride in there. They didn't have speed at all at the time and just kept on wrecking, just horrible luck throughout the whole year and got
yeah,
sent back down to Xfinity. So who knows? I mean, Noah had a lot of fun down at Xfinity, but his time is up down there. He
no,
deserves
yeah,
to be a Cup Series winner.
and
So,
we're looking at it with Cole Custer. It's not, if he goes back down to Xfinity, it's not going to be immediate success.
no,
It's
not
not.
one bit.
So it's just a tough situation. I'm interested to see. I mean, all this is speculation, but I'm interested to see what comes of this, if anything. But it's just something to keep an eye on in the next
Yeah.
few weeks.
I mean, it's a possibility he could go back to that 9 car because it's rumored that Brandon Jones is going to go back to Joe Gibbs Racing.
Menards
Yeah.
Menards isn't making enough money off their Dale Jr. commercials, so they're going to go back to Joe Gibbs. Right? It does. That's. Could you imagine? That would be the silliest of silly seasons if Gragson gets forced back out into a car because the sponsor didn't like that car. Like that, just strange all around.
Yeah. It
But
really doesn't make any sense, but
mhm.
we'll have more news on that when we get closer to whenever that releases. All right, we had some testing done at Richmond on Monday and Tuesday.
Womp womp.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't really know how to take what to take from it. I mean, they did a lot of testing without the rear diffuser. They did a 4-inch spoiler. So they're trying to do different things, but a lot of the guys were saying like it's the tire. We need to do something with this tire. It is not the aero whatsoever.
Well, I mean, it's a short track. They talk about for years that the arrow doesn't matter. I mean, you got these guys in the mid 2000s and knocking the fenders off the cars and
Right.
running better, like that famous Dale Jr. race all those years ago when he lost the right or left front fender and it cooled down his tires more and he drove back through the field. Like, the arrow is never going to be it. You need more power and less tire, basically.
Yeah, I think
And that's
Denny
what they've been
Hamlin came out and tweeted like he said like his exact list of like what he wanted.
that's what they've been screaming for years now. And but arrow is the cheapest thing to do, and it puts Goodyear in a bad spot because I'm sure that they didn't do so well after that 2008 Brickyard race. They're not going to want to put out a tire that looks like it's failing.
Right.
So they're ultimately Goodyear's trying to sell their product too, which sucks for us as race fans.
Yeah, hopefully they can figure it out. Hopefully, I
But
don't know, at least maybe this
they're
will.
they're trying stuff. They're thinking outside the box, so you got to commend them for that. And today and yesterday they learned it didn't work, and that's a mark in that column. They'll move on. They'll try something else.
Yeah, they will try something else, and hopefully it'll lead to better short track racing. Who knows?
But unfortunately, what that means is they got to redesign it again, which means we're going to get the same short track package for next season.
Yep.
It's
So,
basically that's basically it. They'd have to start manufacturing the parts today if this was a successful test, and it wasn't. So there's nothing to do.
yep.
We're stuck with the same parts for next year.
Yeah, gonna
Kind of
be a
sucks.
cold couple years over at the short tracks, which is a shame to see because what we've seen forever is that short track racing puts on
Yeah,
the best racing, and now
yeah.
now it's
Again,
pretty much all about strategy, really.
oh, exactly. And again, I think we should trust what the driver's saying, and the driver owner and Denny is yelling, do something with the tires, do something with the engine, quit looking at aero. It's not going to do anything. Don't put sticky stuff on the track. Do tires, do engine,
Yeah, more
which
horsepower.
the engine also could be a longer term solution too, but I
Yeah,
mean, I'm sure Goodyear's got a lot of rubber lying around that they could figure out how to make a bit of a softer, folly offier tire.
yeah. You would think that they would be right on top of that,
Yeah, but again, they want to
but
they want to show that their tires are strong and will last forever, and they are doing that. So good job, Goodyear, I guess.
yeah, right. Alrighty, in some other news, our good friend from New Zealand, Shane Van Gisbergen, was hinting on a media day that he will basically be running in NASCAR next year. I mean, there was just one journalist that was just like on top of him, be like, "What are you doing next year? Like, you have a couple weeks to say like what you're doing, and are you going to be running NASCAR?" And basically just said simple
Yeah, he
yes.
just said yes, and I mean, it was hesitant in the sense that he doesn't have anything inked in or chiseled in stone yet. But
Yeah,
I mean, it seems like we're gonna see a lot of SVG. Who knows where or in what capacity? He may not even be a full-time driver. He may just come get a lay of the land, do a few races, learn to race on ovals, because it doesn't sound like he's got any experience on paved ovals. So it who knows it what we'll see. I mean, allegedly there's teams offering him full-time gigs. I'm sure there's guys that want him one-off. I'm sure Xfinity teams have looked into the possibility at least. It's one of those big dominoes that's going to have to fall for us, and it sounds like we'll find out soon. And maybe we'll find out at Indy when they go there in a couple weeks.
yeah, who knows? And yeah, like you said, all I've heard is that he's just been getting contracts left and right. So
Just hurled at him.
hey, the
That's
the
yeah,
guy
yeah.
deserves it. That's for sure.
Mm-hmm. I still think Indy's going to be a rude awakening for him. And oh, it's not that easy. Oh, people just run you over. Oh, okay. But yeah, I mean, you think this guy's not even gonna be able to race Indy because he's gonna be so distracted with all the reporters just hounding. Where are you gonna race? What are you gonna do? Who are you gonna drive for? What's your plan here? What's your plan here? I mean, it's all everybody wants to talk about, and they're gonna have him in the palm of their hand.
Right. Yeah. So gotta see if he survives the media and the race for Indy because that race is maddening.
Yeah. Again, I kind of hope it looks like this Richmond race where there's only one natural yellow, and just let those guys do it on strategy. But
Yeah.
that's just me.
No,
Don't want to
I
deal with all the BS at Indy.
that's gonna be a caution fest, whether you like it or not.
All right, I'll watch, I guess.
Alrighty. Rocket League is going to be sponsoring the 45 of Tyler
Yes.
Reddick. We've seen Rocket League and NASCAR kind of work together the past couple years. They did a couple DLC packs.
I love me my Rocket League. It's acrylic, but a big Rocket League guy. Does it still light up? No, the batteries are probably dead, but I'm a big Rocket League fan.
Oh,
Hey,
it's
thumbs up.
such
I
a
mean,
great game.
they've been having activations at the track at the street race. They had Rocket League booths set up right next to the iRacing booths, and they've had a nice collab with in-game purchases and whatnot. You can show your NASCAR pride while you're playing Rocket League, and I think this is a great next step.
Yeah, absolutely. Cool ass paint scheme
Mm-hmm.
too. So can't wait to see you hit the track on
The
Sunday.
the 45 has been dropping some bangers recently with their Pocono scheme with the Jordan brand on it, and then this past week with Xfinity working with West Coast Customs,
Oh yeah.
and then now Rocket League this week. Like, come on, slow down, 45. We need you to chill out with the drip a little bit here.
Yeah, if only the 23 car would kind of learn from that. I mean that McDonald's car is still just so goddamn
Well,
ugly.
you
I'm
know,
not a
as
fan of it.
you're happy that I'm sure they're very happy with all the money that McDonald's has given them. So
Oh yeah.
I don't think they give a damn what the car looks like. They are raking in that cash from McDonald's.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, and then final bit of news. Cars are going to Michigan this weekend, and the Detroit Pistons will be sponsoring the 48 for Alex Bowman. They got a sponsorship deal with Allies, so might as well put the team on the car. We saw that with the White Sox earlier this year at the Chicago Street Course. So pretty cool to see
Yeah,
teams kind of put their branding on a race car because it gets the fan, like, Detroit Pistons fans, they see that, like, oh, that's pretty cool. And then they'll root
they'll
for
tune it. Yeah,
Alex
they'll tune
Bowman
in for
this
the
weekend.
race. They'll be like, oh, my basketball team's at this NASCAR race. Let's check this out, see what it's all about. So, and who knows? I mean, you saw with the Chicago Street Race, the local market went a little nuts for them, but like way higher TV ratings and everything. And obviously, there's other stuff that went on with Chicago, but get these guys scrolling through the channels like, oh, I heard that the Pistons car is racing today. Maybe I'll turn it on because I got nothing to do on this Sunday afternoon. So
Yeah, right.
yeah, I again nothing bad.
So smart
All press
marketing
is
on
good
both
press.
ends.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, for sure, for sure. And again, you got it's just funny that you got two Michael Jordan race cars out there too, because if you don't know the history of the Bulls and the Pistons,
Oh yeah.
it's ugly.
That's a deep
So
history right there. All right, everybody, we'll get right into our diecast of the week. Mr. Tom, what you got for us, buddy?
all right, I looked up some stats. I'm grasping at straws a little bit here, but I looked up some stats and they said that Roush is the winningest team in Michigan.
Yep.
So I'll pull out an oldie but a goodie, the 2003 Matt Kenseth 17 for Roush. It's
Very
even got a little
nice.
chase for the Nextel Cup logo on the back. Maybe this isn't even from 2003. Who knows? These are my old toys.
He won it in
They're
2003, so that might be his championship
they're
car.
very banged up and out of shape. Like the windshield's bent and caved in here. Like I loved these cars when I was a kid. So
Oh yeah, it
I'm gonna
shows.
pull out some cars from my childhood. So they're not worth much, but sentimental value is cool.
Oh hell yeah, man. Alrighty, for my
Mm-hmm.
diecast of the week, we're going to Michigan this weekend, and Kevin Harvick won there last year, so I had to bust out his Busch Light Apple paint scheme diecast that he ran
Yeah,
last year.
it's a
Just
pretty
a
car.
beauty of a car. He broke his horrible, horrible losing streak at that track too. I got to see that in person, so I was just so damn happy for that. So this diecast means a lot to me.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it was a good car. It was. I mean, people were excited to see him win. After you get up that old and you start having a winless streak like that, they don't know if it's going to happen again. They were going through it with Truex recently. I mean, Denny had a bit of a winless streak going on, and all these guys getting close to retirement. You wonder if they're ever going to win again. So it's cool, especially you potentially saw his last win in Cup, but
Second to
until
last because he
until
won
next
Richmond
week.
the next week.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Until next week. You potentially saw it. He got one more before he left, but then he won back to back, which is a big flex on the field. But no, those the Bush cars in general on Harvick, they've just done so good at shaking it up, keeping it
Oh
fresh.
yeah.
So
Yeah, that has to be like the best paint scheme that he runs with at SHR is because
mhm.
he always
Oh,
wins
that
with the Bush cars.
and that red one that just stands out on the track.
Yeah, absolutely. It reminds me of when he used to run the Budweiser car.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
All right, Tom, let's talk Road America and Richmond. Xfinity kicked off our weekend up in Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin. AJ Allmendinger, yeah, the road course king, won the pole. He flew from Richmond, Virginia to go run some laps. And some trouble for his colleague teammate Chandler Smith. We had two to go in stage one, loses his brakes. I couldn't tell if he either had a brake rotor blow up or something just broke on his car.
Looked like
And
the brake rotor, and I mean, he said his pedal went to the floor. So
yeah, So he tried to slow it down as much as possible, get into the grass, get
Man,
into the wall, but he still had a hard lick into that concrete wall there. But better than
yeah.
going head on.
Oh yeah. I mean, we saw it a little later with this guy who had a similar problem, went head onto that wall. It just all of
Yep.
them looked ugly. What scared me about, first of all, NBC luckiest shot of the day, getting that right as live as it happened,
Yeah.
and just hearing everybody react. So I guess kudos to them. Um, but the wall that he turned into, because he drifted left to slow his car down, but that wall was a lot like the street race concrete blocks that they had sitting out in Chicago. So like those were just like loose, and yeah, they're big and heavy, but they're loose things. So if he hits it the wrong way, he could get caught and have almost a worse crash. So who knows? Like lucky guy there
Yeah.
with all the. I mean, unlucky for the brakes, but like it. I guess he did what he could to slow it down, and glad he's okay.
Yeah. Could have been a lot worse for the driver of the 16. But the driver of the 7 won stage 1. And then we had some trouble with John Hunter Nemechek spinning Riley Herbst. Oh man, we're talking about Riley Herbst every single week.
Yeah,
I think he spun out like 3 or 4 times throughout this one. He's just not having a good day.
that incident was, again, it was just a restart shenanigans in NASCAR. I mean, I think everybody said John Hunter spun him, but John Hunter got bumped from behind and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
So like it's just everybody trying to go for the same real estate because they know they can maybe make up a lot of spots on a restart. So yeah, it sucks that he gets tagged there, but he fought back. He
Yeah.
fought back. He showed up at the end.
Yes, he did. And we had more trouble for John Hunter Nemechek. Just hard racing, and he got into the grass and completely destroyed
Oof.
his front splitter.
Talk about a hard hit. I mean, he was all four off the ground and then
Oh
just
yeah.
nosedived in there, and yeah, that was nasty. That car, I mean, it looked like the old Plymouths from the days of
Yeah.
Richard Petty.
Yeah, that
So
was
yeah,
real brutal. And he is just not having good luck on these road courses this year, that's for sure. Either getting taken out by his teammates or the grass.
yeah. Well, you win some, you lose some. He's won quite a lot.
Yeah,
I don't
that's
I
for
don't think he's
sure.
too worried.
All right. Justin Allgaier won stage 2. So good stage points for that
Good
7
points
car.
day for him for sure.
Yep. And then not a good day for his teammate Josh Berry. He has just been in so much trouble as of late. He got loose, spin Sammy Smith, Cole Custer, and AJ Allmendinger, all heavy hitters throughout this
Yeah.
race, all taken out into the sand pit.
Yeah. Josh Berry has not been able to close out the races of late, which is a little bit concerning. You
Seems like he's just
you
getting pretty anxious.
Yeah, exactly, and you want him to be at the top of his game, especially with his trajectory for next year, and
Mhm.
uh, and he's not showing it. But again, we're still before the playoffs. He's locked in. There's time to build back up,
Yeah, absolutely. Still has
and
lots of time.
and AJ Allmendinger was struggling with mechanical issues all day. It sucks to go out there trophy hunting, risk so much for the Cup playoffs, and then to have a day like that. A lot of people are saying they don't understand why he did it, but just went out there in general. But
Because
I
he's
mean,
getting ready
it's
for full-time Xfinity again next year. That's why.
yeah. So like, it is what it is. You want to go out there and win, but I mean, these are big old machines and they're rumbling around a bumpy racetrack. Bad stuff's going to happen. So sucks for him all around,
Yep.
but it is what it is.
Yeah, exactly. And a guy who had a turnaround of a year at this track, Sage Karam, who got taken out by my boy Noah Gragson last year, made the dumbest move. I will say that was really stupid
Ooh,
by Noah. But Sage Karam, redemption this year, battling with Justin Allgaier for the lead with Sam Mayer. But that one car took the lead after that 7 spun. And then he battled it with Parker Kligerman, but Sam Mayer finally finally got his
Hmm.
first win after, what is this, like his third full-time season in that one car?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I mean,
good for Sam.
he's still 20 years old. He's still a very young guy. Um,
Hmm.
and it's good to see him not get frustrated enough to start doing dumb stuff on the track, a
Right.
la Noah Gragson spinning Sage Karam last year. He won it cleanly. He raced hard. Any contact or anything made on that last lap, like that was just guys racing hard, and that was all good. I mean, again, Allgaier got the short end of the stick, spun it out, and had to let the field behind him.
Yeah.
This it's cool to see a guy who's worked hard and raced cleanly for so long finally break through. And it's one of those things where it's like, oh, you burst the seam, it's all going to come pouring out now.
Yeah, we saw how good this kid was down in ARCA. Pretty good down in the truck series for his little
Mm-hmm.
stint down there too. So yeah, I think we're just starting to see
Yeah,
the beginning for Sam Mayer.
he could run Xfinity for the rest of his life and have a very successful career.
Yeah.
Obviously nobody wants to do that, but what are your thoughts on the race in general?
I thought it was pretty good. I mean, it sucked that they took out the live pit stops because it takes away the strategy of the race, but I felt like there was a lot of good battles on the track. There wasn't like one guy running away with it the whole time, and at the end came down the good battles. So yeah, I thought it was pretty good. Little bit of a wreck fest, but I mean, you're gonna get that with a 4 mile road course.
Mm-hmm. It's just it's a tragedy for Elkhart Late to lose the cup race, but also
Yeah.
for what that means for Xfinity to go up there and not do the live pit stops, and for NASCAR's caution safety car model where it's full course cautions all the time. And it just that something's got to get fixed with this, because I'm sitting there watching this race, and if you watch the race, if you want to watch a road course race where they don't have live stops, DVR it and watch it an hour after it finishes, because you can skip all the BS. But this
Oh, those
the
caution laps
just
take forever.
the pacing in general from a viewer's standpoint is just not great. You're not going to retain eyes to see that last 2 lap battle that we were graced with, and that was the saving grace of the race. But I thought in general this race was a dud. It just the pacing, the stage lengths made no sense. Like the first stage was half the race, which is
Yeah.
weird. It's just weird in general. And they couldn't, there was a point where they're just caution after caution and restarting. And then just in general, they got to figure out this non-live pit stop model,
Yeah.
because it's not great.
What I think would really help is if they took some of those shortcuts that they have throughout the track to kind of break down the
Mm-hmm.
caution laps, because they're going around a 4 mile road course at like what, 40 miles per hour, maybe a little bit
Yeah.
more than that, and that takes a long time. It takes like 5 minutes to
Mm-hmm.
do just one lap, and I
And
feel like
there's
there's just a
if
better way that they can bring out the product of Road America. And we've
if
seen it in the past. It's
Yeah,
been
no,
great
exactly.
before.
Especially without live pit stops, because people would argue, well, how do you calculate fuel if you're only cutting half the lap under cut? It's like, well, it doesn't matter because you're not doing live pit stops anyway. And
Right.
there's so many like throughways and whatnot there that they could probably clear accidents faster because the cars wouldn't even have to come by. But then how do you score it? It's a mess, and I think we shouldn't have. I mean, it's good for Elkhart Lake to still get their race, even if it's not the cup race. So you can't just say like, well, Xfinity should just run every weekend at the same place as Cup Series does, because you're going to lose some different types of tracks and different looks,
Yeah.
and some different markets if you do something like that. But please just do some live pit stops.
I just don't know why we can't, because we have pit crew
Yeah,
members
they're all there,
there.
but like the problem is like
They're not the number
it's
one guys,
it's
but
the hauler driver doing the lugs. Like it's
put them to
the
work. Who cares, man?
the live pit crews are world class athletes
Yeah.
in everything they do. It takes a very specific set of skills to do 12-second, 4 tires, 5 lugs, 2 cans of fuel.
See, I just
It's
think
just
they've gone
not anybody
soft,
can
man.
do it. But like, it's a road course. The pit stop can take a little longer.
Yeah. I don't know.
Just
I
let it
just think
happen.
they've gone soft, man. We used to see Morgan Shepherd pit his own car, man. He used to get out and change all the tires and
Yeah,
fill it up with gas.
who needs safety regulations in
Yeah,
auto
right?
racing? Just
Come
let them
on.
all. Let's do like they used to do in Le Mans and just start the race with literally nobody in their cars and the guys would just run out there.
Yeah,
Let's try
right.
that. They would
Hey,
sprint out to their cars and then take off.
yeah, we'll do
Oh
something to
man.
make it interesting.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. Yeah. Cause I mean, there's just lulls in that race where it's just nothing was happening. And the poor booth people who are also the B team for NBC were just trying
Yeah.
to tap dance around stuff. And it was a mess.
Yeah, I will say like I've gone there 3 times, all for the Xfinity races. I never went up
Hmm.
for the Cup weekend, but it's fun watching the races. But once the cautions come out, you can probably take about a 20-minute nap and you'll be ready to go
Yeah.
for the restart.
Yeah. Go get some food, go use the bathroom, do your taxes, and maybe they'll be racing
Yeah, maybe.
when you're done.
All right, but let's move on to Richmond with the Truck Series. This was the regular season finale, and boy, oh boy, did it get good.
Oh my goodness. It was just fantastic. And you see that 98 truck just drive away from the beginning. You're like, oh, this is gonna suck. And then
Oh yeah.
it just was so good. It was so good.
Yep.
I was very pleased. I'm partial to all these strategy races. So I know a lot of people are saying, oh, it was boring. They just ran around the whole time. The same with the cup race, but give me this all day. Seeing what people are gonna do, how different guys are gonna react to different things. And that's exactly what we saw at the end of the truck race. Something wasn't working, so they had to try something different. It ended up working.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's sometimes what we need is these strategy races. I mean, not
Hmm.
everything is going to be door to door, bumper to bumper every single week.
No, no. And Brad Keselowski said it after the cup race. He said, you can't have NASCAR without a wide variety of disciplines to rate in.
Right.
It's just another discipline. And maybe not as many people like this type of racing, but it's fun to watch it play out over a long period of time. You don't get those little nuggets of action, but you get the whole arc of the event.
Yeah, absolutely. And like you said, Ty Majeski, he was the class of the field, won stage one and he won stage two, but he got himself a speeding penalty and had to go to the back of the pack.
Did you see
And
his tweet?
oh yeah, I did. He tweeted that he was like 0.01 miles per hour over, or
Yeah.
5.01.
Hmm.
But
And Landon Castle quote tweeted it and responded and explained that in that specific section where he got caught, it's shorter by the outside of the wall than it is down by the pit boxes. So he probably didn't change anything on his speed. He was probably sitting at the same tack. It just the way that the timing worked out, he just got caught.
yeah,
And by that much, I mean, Denny Hamlin said, how do you have a truck that fast? Why are you speeding? You could go 5 miles an hour slower than the speed limit on pit road and be safe.
hmm
But again, he was not, it's not like he was flying in hot off the track and just overcooked it. He was maintaining a good speed. He was doing exactly what he needed to do. And just the way the timing loop was arranged, he got nabbed for it. So like that sucks, but it made it so
Huh.
compelling to watch that race finish out.
Oh yeah, it was fun to watch Ty Majeski just fly through that field. And then we get another kind of late race caution, and Ty Majeski stays out. Everybody else pits. I'm sorry, there was no late race caution.
No,
Yeah, yeah,
that's the strategy thing that
yeah.
they were, it's just like, well, this isn't going to work. This dude's catching us. Nobody was
hmm
planning to pit. Then they're like, well, we'll get fresh tires and see if we can catch up to him that way while we're still so far ahead of him.
Yeah.
And everybody was saying that Ty Majeski was, that's what it felt like, that there was a late race caution. And I see why you did that, because there was no way he was going to get back to the front,
hmm
starting at the tail end of the field, getting through all the lappers, and then going up to the lead while also saving his tires to turn laps. I mean, Fox is putting up that fastest, like 5 fastest lap thing, which I thought those little nuggets on the side of the thing were good job, Fox. You did something right.
Yeah, right,
But
for once.
but what was amazing me is after that, those pit stops in the middle of stage 3, Ty was still showing up as like 4th fastest. And again, he never pitted.
Right.
So lap to lap, he was turning lap times equal to fresh tires, which was just insane. Insane. But it wasn't gonna last. And with a truck that fast, again, I know hindsight's 2020, but why don't you pit when the 42 pits?
Yep.
Why
That
don't you do it? They seemed like they got stuck with the strategy and stuck with it even with the speeding penalty. They're like, well, we have the speed to lap the field, but now we have to go to the back of the field, but we'll keep the same strategy. And it just didn't make sense. They could have reacted. They could have probably even pit with 20 to go and still
yeah.
gotten back around.
Who
He was
knows?
so
Because
fast.
yeah, maybe they thought that they were able to make it. Maybe they thought that they were out in front enough. But
Mm-hmm.
from what I saw, Ty Majeski, he just ran into lap traffic too much. I mean, short track, that is going to
Yeah.
happen. But Carson Hocevar, he had the fresher tires and he was just running him down
Mm-hmm.
and he got the win. So Ty Majeski, that one hurts. Hasn't gotten a win yet this year, but he is locked in the playoffs and he's showing a lot of speed. So
Yeah. Watch out
his
for
his time,
Phoenix. Watch
yeah,
out for Phoenix. If they bring this exact truck to Phoenix,
his
ugh,
time is coming. Yeah,
look
that's
at
for
that's a
sure.
championship. It's a championship winning truck right there. That's scary. That's
Yeah.
scary fast.
Yeah, but Carson Hocevar does it again. And he does it clean. I mean, we saw this guy like throughout the past couple of years. He's kind of been dirty, kind of pulling some dumb moves with doing the self spins to bring out the caution. But so far, so good for Carson this year. He's kind of redeeming himself and really turning himself into a fan favorite. I loved his celebration, set his tires on fire, and he did the little campfire and
Yeah.
I just love he said, I feel like Noah Gragson right now. I think I'm gonna go throw up. So
Well, yeah, you're gonna like anybody that brings up Noah Gregson, I bet. But
yeah.
again,
Won me over.
he did what he needed to do. He ran his race, and this one kind of fell in his lap. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
again, not the fastest, but fast enough to be there when it counted. And when he needed to run those money laps, he went and cashed that check. So it's really good. But it's interesting that you make the comment about his history and whatnot, because that seems to be a theme. He was on he he he's been at Junior Motorsports to work with the Spire guys, because Junior Motorsports prepares those Spire Xfinity cars.
Mm-hmm.
And Dale Jr. said on his podcast today that he saw Carson in the hallway and said, so when are you gonna stop wrecking all that shit? Like like the owners see him. And Dale said today, he's like, he's got time to pivot and make his actions match his talent to catch the eyes of owners. But right now, all the owners still see him as the guy that spins himself out when stuff doesn't go his way, or wrecks other guys when stuff doesn't go his way. So,
Right.
and again, when you're wrecking other guys, you're also wrecking the owner's equipment too. So it's it's going to be interesting. Yeah, because Junior said, yeah, we'd love to have him at JRM, but he's got to stop wrecking
Yeah.
intentionally. So it's interesting. I mean, there's rumors that he's going straight to Cup next year. So who knows? He's got that relationship with Spire. That 77 team is god awful. Who knows if that's the right move? I think that's a John Hunter Nemechek move, and
Oh,
he's going to end up right back in
totally.
truck in 2 years. But
I think it would be completely stupid if he went immediately to Cup up
mhm,
into the 77 car. I think it would be perfect if he ran the 77 in Xfinity because he's shown a
yeah.
lot of promise with that team, and that team shows a lot of speed. So
But again,
I
we
don't
made
know.
that idea about Brandon Jones going back to Gibbs. So talk about, you want to be like Noah Gragson. How about drive his car?
Yeah, for real.
Just, yeah, again, Junior said he's not ready to pull the trigger on that, which I thought was just a very interesting insight.
Yeah, that is since, he's shown a lot of promise this year and he's been pretty
Hmm.
clean.
Yeah, I'm still not a huge fan of him, by the way.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, he's turning it around, but he's still halfway through the U-turn. He's got to complete it without cutting off all the traffic.
Oh yeah. Still got a lot of growing pains to get through. Alrighty, so let's talk the big show on Sunday, the Cup Series race. Tyler Reddick won the pole. That was his first pole win with 2311 Racing, and it was his first ever laps led on a short track in the Cup
Wow.
Series as well, with what they were saying. And just he was so damn fast, won stage one, and then his teammate Bubba Wallace took the lead for a while too.
Yeah, the Toyotas look strong early. And that's kind of what you expect from Richmond, but not all the Toyotas. It was those 2311 Toyotas, which included the 11.
Yep.
Denny said they were all running the same setup, and they were out the gate early, but the rest of the field responded for sure.
Yep. And then Bubba Wallace's pit crew once again screws it up. Death taxes and pit road issues for that 23 car. I mean, he just shows so much speed, so much promise, and then they always just find a way to screw it up.
But I mean, what he doesn't always do is respond how he responded on Sunday, which he said, no big deal, pulled his belts tight, and just tried to drive and finish where he was let out. And again, yeah, he had a top 5 car. So go out there. Yeah, you have the speed to win the race, but not everything's always going to play your way. And you could old Bubba gets dejected, gets down, and goes and wrecks himself
Yep.
trying too hard to get back to where he was. New Bubba takes what he can get and puts solid finishes, and that's why he is 54 points above the cut line right now. He's putting together full races,
Yep.
even in the face of adversity.
Yep. Smarter driver the longer he is in this series. So good to see for
Mm-hmm.
Bubba because, like you said, a couple years ago, he would have been going off on his pit crew, would have been
Yeah,
screaming at him, and he would have been having a horrible race. But he
yeah,
was cool, calm, and collected, and he just kept doing his thing.
and the more these good finishes come, the more confident he's going to be.
Mm-hmm.
And one of these days, they're going to drop the jack on him, like they did, and he's going to recover from it and have so much confidence he's going to come back and win. It's just going to happen. Again, because all this Cup Series racing, he's racing against guys that have been doing this for 20 years in Cup. I mean, like he's Brad Keselowski was coming up and knocking on the door all day, and Bubba's been in here for what 4 or 5 years now. Like
Yeah.
it's just an experience game, and once he's the grizzled veteran, he's going to pull out some wins and pull out some wacky stuff.
Yeah, I mean,
He's
look
just
at Denny. I mean, he's had so many wins that he overcame like a speeding penalty or a pit road penalty. I mean, it takes a lot. It's gonna take a long time for Bubba to kind of learn like how to overcome that and then win the race.
Yeah, no, of course. But again, or Sunday was a shining example of how he can respond. He
Yep,
never got down on himself. He was dealt a shitty hand, and he folded in that round and came back home and still won some of the jackpot. So
absolutely. All right, and like you said, Brad Keselowski was showing speed in the second stage, won him that second stage, and then more from last weekend. Kyle Larson was getting back at Denny Hamlin throughout turn two. Just gave him a bumper, didn't put him in the wall
yeah,
or anything. He's just showing his displeasure with him, but
yeah. I
that's
mean, he
that's
had
how they're
fresh
gonna be
tires,
racing.
and Denny was on old tires, and yeah, he definitely could have gone around him, but he drove through him, and
Oh, he wanted to send a message.
I'm sure Denny was sitting in that car and being like, "All right, yep, yeah, I deserve that. I
Yep.
deserve that." And uh, are they even? Who knows? They're good buds though. They'll figure it out.
Yeah. Honestly, what I feel like they're doing right now is they're like, all right, let's keep hitting each other on the track. Let's make this
Hmm.
rivalry a thing. And they're laughing in the back. They think this is hilarious, but they're
Oh
just
yeah,
making way more money off merch. Fans are talking about them more. They're in the spotlight. So whatever they're doing, I think they're doing it right. I don't think they really hate each other. I think this is
nah,
all for fun.
nah. I mean, losing a race the way Kyle Larson did at Pocono was not fun per
No.
se, but yeah, that you got people talking about you as all these drivers say. As long as people are making noise, they don't care whether it's cheers or boos. So they're they're figuring it out. And again, Hendrick never showed up on Sunday anyway.
Oh,
So Denny's still the one laughing all the way to the bank.
yep, absolutely.
Denny, can I also say, Denny, when this was brought up on Actions Detrimental, Denny was complaining about how NBC plays into the drama. And I'm sitting there listening. And I'm like, Denny, that's what we want. That's what people watch for.
Yeah.
We don't want to play into the comedy like Fox does. This is dramatic. This is real life, man. Like this is a real sport with real emotions and real people and real hurt feelings. And what do you mean they play too much into the drama? You're a nitwit for that comment. Like,
Yeah.
oh my God.
And Denny is one of the guys that just brings the drama. They don't need to talk about drama. He just needs to talk, and there it
No.
is.
Yeah, because he's basically saying everything between him and Kyle is over. And who knows? Who knows? I'm sure it'll get brought up again in a few weeks.
Yeah, do you know how long they talked about Kevin Harvick and Chase Elliott? They still do, and they're buddies now. They don't give a shit.
They're all buddies, and then on the track they all hate each other, and then they'll go back to being buddies again. Like,
Yep.
does Ryan Preece really want to tear off Corey LaJoie's head after Pocono?
No.
I mean, he just got out of a hot race car after 3 hours. Yeah, he does, but again, in an hour and a half, he'd be like, "Oh, okay, yeah, I'm cool. That was kind of shitty what happened to me, but I guess I'll see him next week."
Yeah, right.
It's like
I
yeah, sure, it's manufactured drama in general, but again, it's still like real stuff, and it affects the outcomes of races, and it's why we tune in every week. So don't ask them to downplay it.
yeah, no, keep it going. All right. So we had a commitment line violation for the 45 of Tyler Reddick.
I
Just
hate that
20
rule. I hate that rule.
Me too, but 2311 just getting plagued by pit road on this race.
Mm-hmm. They start. I never when I'm watching in general, and say Kyle is on the pole and he runs out to the lead early. I'm not excited about that. I know that sounds counterintuitive, but he doesn't know what his car needs.
Mm-hmm.
He's running in first. He's out there in the good air. He doesn't know what his car needs, and then he'll get shuffled back every once in a while and never shows up at the front again. I would rather have a team show up late in the race. You can dial it in. You start in the middle, dial it in, get better. So that's always something I generally keep an eye on, keep in the back of my mind at the beginning of the race. It's like, yeah, track position is important and whatnot. You want to stay up front and whatnot, but the car you drive at the beginning of the race is not going to be the same car at the end of the race. So that,
Nope.
like, again, as strong as those three cars, the 23, 11, and 45 were at the beginning, again, they weren't going to be the same cars, and it's harder to build on what you need for the rest of the race when you truly don't know what the competition is, and the other competition knows what they're chasing, so they can dial it in better. So yeah, and of course this goes back to the commitment line violation. Hate the rule. It's silly. It always gets these guys at Richmond.
Yep.
I don't know if they need to adjust where the line is or whatnot. Or
Pit road entry is just it's tricky. It's right
it's one of
there on
those
that
things.
turn. Yeah.
It's one of those things. So but all that being said, was Tyler Reddick going to win the race without if he got to pit road nicely? No, I don't think so. I think those Fords showed up, but it sucks that he got a shitty result. But again, it is good. One of those good things to run in front early for those stage points. So it's
Yep.
a what could have been, but I don't think he lost too much on it, especially with the late caution. He got put right back with everybody.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that really helped him out. Chris Buescher, he had fresher tires and pushed himself past Martin Truex and the field. Like you said, we did have a late race caution that bunched them up, but
Oh, that
Chris,
pissed me off so much when Daniel Suarez got spun. I
yeah, I
was like,
mean,
wait, can't we just let this be? Because we know how these guys get on these last cautions, these
mhm,
late race, these 4-lap shootouts. They're like, oh, they're all just going to kill each other now. So it's like, we had such a fun race, like you mentioned with Martin Truex and Chris Buescher. Like Martin Truex was the only one splitting those stages in half, which it
no,
was fascinating to watch because then everybody would get their first set of tires and drive past him, but then he would get his fresh set after those were half a stint old and drive past everybody else again. It's a classic strategy, and When do you pit? When do you go? Stay the line, toe the line, and see where you come out. And Truex was definitely out on an island, but it worked out for him all right
Yeah.
until that last caution. I think that last caution killed Truex's day the most.
Yeah, I think so, but Chris Buescher, he was able to hold off the field and get his third career win at Richmond, his second win with RFK Racing. So pretty cool to see for Buescher. I mean, him and Brad, they were leading a lot of laps throughout the day. So it's really
Mhm.
safe to say that RFK is back.
RFK is scary.
Yeah.
Scary.
Especially on these short
Brad,
tracks.
yeah, Brad, like you watch that ticker and I was like, oh my God, Brad Keselowski's in sixth. Oh my God,
Hmm.
Brad Keselowski's in third. Like he was coming. And again, Kyle Busch fan, I can't stand Brad. These have been the best years of my life because he hasn't been a threat to win ever. But he's coming back and I'm having flashbacks of like, oh no. So it's again, it's cool to see him be successful and replenish that team from bring them out of the slump of what they were from their glory days. And
Yeah.
uh, so it's cool to see. I'm much happier to watch that 17 car win than the 6 car just because of the drivers. Um, but yeah, no, it's cool to see. And Ford was really strong, which we haven't been able to
Hmm.
say much this year. I mean, every Stewart Haas car beat every Hendrick car.
Thank God.
With you tell me that at the beginning of the year, you're like, they did what?
Yeah.
5 races in, Hendrick looked unstoppable, and I mean Chevy in general looks unstoppable. And then you say, oh yeah, the second Richmond race, you remember that Kyle Larson won the first one, but all the Stewart Haas cars are going to fill out or finish before the Hendrick cars, including 30th place Chase Briscoe.
Yep.
So like that's if Ford has found something. I don't know if it's in their power or if they've tweaked the front nose a little bit, but I guess they're still the short track program works for them
Yeah,
where
it
they're
works.
less aero dependent because everybody's saying Ford has been lacking in the aero area
Yeah,
at the
so
bigger tracks.
they looked pretty good on the short tracks, and they're going to a really good track for them this weekend. Their backyard at Michigan. The 43 wins for Ford at this track in the Cup Series. So
Mm-hmm. I don't see it. I don't see it happening. But we'll talk about that in the next episode.
yes, we shall. But you got anything else to add before we end our show here, bud?
um, I just again keeping that eye on that cut line. Um, everybody's talking. Will Chase make it? Will Bowman make it? And we'll have to see what happens.
Yeah, Denny seems like he's really for sure that Chase is going to make it on points. I don't really know about that.
His example was Bubba Wallace again, because we got 4 races to go, and four races ago, Bubba was like 2 points ahead of the cut line, and now he's
Hmm.
54. So you can make up points, but you got to go through Michael McDowell, who's captain consistency.
Yeah.
Captain consistency. I can't even consistently say consistency. Um, here's my hot take, and we can close off on this. Chase makes it. Chase is in the playoffs.
Hmm.
I think the best Chase finishes in the standings is 13th by the end of the year. I don't think he makes it out of the first round.
Okay.
He's going to push hard. He's going to push hard to make it into the playoffs. But again, Hendrick has fallen off. Where has William Byron been?
Right.
I mean, Chase is going through his own stuff. He's got to do what he's got to do. But Hendrick has fallen off. And he's going to push hard to make it, but I just don't think that Chase has been his consistent self lately enough. Because I mean, he's used to riding through the playoffs with so many playoff points. He doesn't have anything right now,
Yeah,
so
right.
he's going to have to outperform. I don't think he makes it out of the first round of playoffs, which is probably a bold statement. I'll probably regret saying it, but I I'll look really smart if I'm right.
See, for me, I don't think this is it's not biased. Like, yeah, I don't like Chase Elliott, but I don't see him making this. It just he hasn't
Mm-hmm.
shown any top five speed at all. I mean, yeah, he's been pretty consistent. He's picked up a lot of points, but we're coming down to the wire here where everyone is going to be racing urgent.
Yeah.
and he kind of has to do that too. So
there's
I don't
really
know.
3 races left because Daytona's a crapshoot. Who knows what's going to happen there? And that's where it could all go to shit. If he doesn't win these next 3 races and then gets taken out of Daytona, then all this is a moot point. But again, you have the road courses now.
But he's been getting outshined on the road courses though by Tyler Reddick and Larson.
I'm just saying, he knows how to focus. He knows what he's doing. And so, and without the stage cautions, you can run up front, get all the stage points, and win the race. And there's like, or run second in all the stages. 9 points, and like what, 35 points. So that's a lot right there. You can run second all day, and you can do that now without the stage breaks.
Right.
So that's where a majority of his points are he has to run up front. I mean, he's his first wins at Watkins Glen. He knows it like the back of his hand. And again, Indy road course, hopefully it'll be a little more tame without those extra superfluous cautions. So it's interesting to watch for sure, but he can do it.
Yeah, he's got to start showing some urgency, and Hendrick's got to start bringing some speed back to these cars, because these past couple of weeks have been a real dud for the bow ties.
But he's the Chevys have been not so strong, and who's he chasing? The 34.
Yep.
If he wants to point in, he's chasing the 34 in a Ford, who, again, the Fords seem like they're on the up and up. So
yeah, should be a interesting battle for the rest of the regular season, but yeah, I think we need to get ready, and it's just going to be wild. I can't wait.
Fun to watch. I've been telling some folks, is like, if you need a reason to tune into NASCAR, this is it right now. The build up to the playoffs is almost more exciting than the Phoenix race.
Yeah, that's saying something.
Also, one last thought. Shout out to my boy Kyle Busch for being like the only Chevy in the top 10.
Yeah, right.
Good job. It was a little scary when he dropped out in the first stage, but he came back. Randall Burnett did good crew chief things, which we didn't have last year. We didn't have a good crew chief last year.
No.
Makes me happy that we can still take shitty cars and make them run well.
Hey, that's what Kyle Busch does, man. He's a true wheel man.
Brings a tear to my eye.
Absolutely. But guys, that will about do it for our show here at the Stock Car Spectacle. Make sure to like our video and subscribe to our channel. And you can also find us on Twitter and Instagram. So for the Stock Car Spectacle, I'm Ian Jortson.
And I'm Tom Hoblet.
And we'll see you guys next time.